Hey boys and girls, Siam here. So there is inbound volatility this week, as we know, and why I believe Bitcoin should, keyword there, should, fall much lower than 13k. Hokey cokey. So if you look over the last sort of 4 market update videos I've put out, so I have been talking about the Bitcoin capitulation that should be inbound, and I said it would be end of November, early December. End of month, nearly early December, more likely, etc. And it's now the 12th of December, and Bitcoin hasn't fallen. Now, the reason being is that the minor capitulation is happening. Okay, that is true. That big mining companies are shutting down. They are continuing to sell their Bitcoin, and that hasn't gone away. But the thing is, when a big company goes into liquidation, it takes time. So that attack vector for Bitcoin is still there. Also, as I mentioned last week, all eyes should be on these news announcements, which really they're starting to tomorrow. So tomorrow, again, we have US CPI. Then US interest rates, and then S&B interest rates, and then basically Europe sort of following suit. So there's as I mentioned, there's going to be inbound volatility this week. But the real reason why I think Bitcoin should fall a lot more than 13k is because of all the other stuff which I don't think people are really paying attention to, and it's stuff that I've been banging on for freaking years now. And in more recent months, for months, and that's the bigger picture. And every video I keep coming back to this because it's very easy to slide down that sort of noisy news feed of Bitcoin. You know, who's doing this, who's doing what, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, fundamentals do come true. They just take a little bit longer. Now, a lot of the biggest losses I've had in the past is when I've used fundamental analysis for my trading, and the reason being is that fundamental analysis just takes time to play out. So I've always been right. That's my curse is I'm nearly always right, but I'm always too early. That is my curse, because I'm always, I got my finger on the pulse, etc. So you always have to take your head out of the weeds. And so a lot of people are constantly, dicking around the 5-minute charts or the 1-hour chart, on Bitcoin, etc. And you need to get your head out of the clouds, or head out of the weeds. And the biggest picture you have to always start with is USM2, as in the currency supply. You need to understand every crypto bull market we've ever had has always been in a monetary expansion phase. Always. It's never ever been in a wider recession or even depression. So it hasn't been stress tests for that yet. No one knows how it will perform there. And also no one knows how it will perform when M2 drops. So this is the last paint on this one was the 1st of October. So actually, let's thread USM2. If we go to the horse's mouth, is it updated a little bit more? If I zoom in here, the last paint, yeah, October. So I'm guessing this is just a feed from, it's from the thread itself. So yeah, I think when we get the next paint on this, it's going to be a nice little tick lower. And although we won't go to, in fact, this is why we need to look at USM2 divided by, Bitcoin divided by USM2. So if we do Bitcoin USD, let's click the Bitstamp 1 divided by USM2, enter, we end up with this chart, which, as you can see, we've been here before. So Bitcoin is well below the 2020, where is it? No, there we go. So that 2020 low is right there. So if we zoom in, this is move to the weekly chart. You can see the market has actually reacted nicely to this level before. It tried to fake out, didn't work, and it's literally on support at the moment. So this is the COVID low. Now, I personally don't think we're going to get to that level. mainly because there's just so much more cash out there. As in, if we open up another chart, where's my mouse gone? The COVID low, if we take, where is this low in terms of, so it's early March, April, that's the 1st of April. So we're somewhere around here. But as you can see, the US just printed like $4 trillion just out of their ass. Just pluck, out of nothing like that. And so obviously that's the real reason all asset prices just have been zooming, and inflation and all that. It's not Ukraine, it's this. This is the real reason. They're just pinning the tail on the donkey, the Ukrainian donkey. That's all they're doing. So, will Bitcoin get back to pre-COVID pump lows? Don't think so. Just because there's just so much more capital, and I find it incredibly hard to believe that USM2 is going to come tumbling back down to these levels. It won't happen. I mean, you'll be looking at the S&P 500 in the freaking gutter. The world, that is literally like an extinction event in terms of finance. That is global extinction, global financial extinction, and we are the freaking dinosaurs. I can't see that happening. So where does it look like we're going to? I think we're looking at these sort of levels here. So there is definitely a confluence of support around here. So I think, yeah, we're getting low actually. We're getting pretty close to these lows. There's still more falling to come. Still more falling to come. Now, there's one other thing here. So looking at this chart, it looks like we're pretty much near the lows, and that maybe we could get to possibly somewhere in this area here. Wouldn't surprise me, but the overriding thing, going back to the main reason for this video, why we should fall a lot lower, is just looking at the S&P 500. I mean, this is something I've been tracking for a long time now, and I like, look what Bitcoin did during that move there. Just that move alone, from 15th of August to the 10th of October. Bitcoin literally shat its pants. 15th of August, right here, top of drop to October time. Is it October time? Sorry, let's go back. 10th of October. Yeah, top of drop to 10th of October. It was about there. So we basically, actually wasn't that bad. It's 25k down to 18. So yeah, it was about, it was a meaningful drop, but it's nothing like we saw before. But that was because we had one, I mean, look at all this falling. You have to understand the correlations. There is a big difference between coincidence, correlations, and causation. There is a definite correlation between stocks and Bitcoin, and I'm going to be producing another video very soon about that. But the only reason Bitcoin has been falling is, one, the currency supply is contracting, which therefore is meaning assets are also contracting. The mothership, the S&P 500, has absolutely capitulated. I know we've been on, we're coming off the back of a bit of a relief rally, but the market has dropped considerably. I mean, from an S&P point of view, that was the wrong one. This is a big drop. I mean, from top of drop to bottom of drop, I mean, that's a 27% crash. That's horrendous. Even right now, we're minus 18%. So from top of drop. So there is a lot more falling to come, because what do you think Bitcoin will do if we have a clean rejection off this level here, which looks like it has, and the S&P goes down here? Again, I'm being hypothetical, and we go back to these COVID highs. I'm not saying this will happen, so before the FCA wants to slap my wrists, I'm not saying this will happen. This is not financial advice. I'm not encouraging anyone to place a short on the S&P 500. This is a simple thought experiment. If you are of the mental model or mindset that the S&P 500 could bounce off this resistance level and fall back to this level here, this little area here, which may coincide with some sort of level like so, what do you think Bitcoin will do? Now, seeing as Bitcoin has done sweet FA when the S&P 500 did this relief rally, so from bottom of drop to the top of drop, it did a 16% move. what did Bitcoin do in exactly the same time period? Like nothing. It basically didn't do anything. I think 11% at best, which, you know, for Bitcoin, Bitcoin always over eggs moves, and it barely did anything, even though the S&P 500 had one hell of a rally. Bitcoin was showing a bit of a divergence there in terms of correlation. So we're not, I hate these three words, or SBF and FTX, it's so overused these days, but the real ramifications of that haven't come out yet. And so if, big if, the S&P were to fall over, which is, you know, my mental model, do you really think, can you honestly sit there and say to yourself, yeah, Bitcoin will be fine, it won't move? Even though when you overlay the S&P 500 on Bitcoin itself, god damn it, come on, no, let's do it the other way around. Let's go to S&P 500 and overlay Bitcoin. Tend to get a much better, come on, scaling, there we go. I think it's basically something like that. Are these are the same time frames? I don't. Yeah, I guess what we're seeing here. So Bitcoin is orange. Don't forget, this is the S&P 500 up here. So we basically had first leg down. We had all of this here, which is basically 0.1, and that was this leg down here. That's 0.1. I'll use my mouse. We then had sort of pivot back up here for pivot 2. This is pivot 2. Nice rebound here. Then we had another move down with a bit of a fanning around in the middle. That was the big move down here, sort of messing around in the middle. So that's move 3. That's move 3. Obviously I can't write properly with this pen. Then we had maybe the bottom move 3 is around here, because this is actually, sorry, move 4, so that actually encompasses this. Move 4 is this little move up here, and this that is move 4 there. So Bitcoin's still dumping. Obviously I may not have labeled that as accurately. If we went to the daily chart, it'll probably be a lot easier to see. But either way, if we get back to what I was originally trying to say, let's just get rid of all drawings and also that. I just personally cannot see Bitcoin not dumping if the S&P 500 dumps back to pre-COVID highs, which I think when you look at this from a currency expansion point of view and the markets, I think that if the market were to fall, this is the area we're sort of looking at, because we're having almost textbook rejections off these levels at the moment, and we're having something like so. Now don't forget, at some point the Fed is going to pivot, and again, if you're of that mental mindset, again, I'm not saying it will do this, but let's say we do make our way over here. What is this creating? This looks like some sort of compression, but yeah. So although for a while I've said I'm aiming to load up Bitcoin around 12 to 13k, and then it could be short-lived, I think we're going to have many opportunities to load up around 12, 13k, or if not lower, to be honest. Next year, I just can't see anything positive in the near horizon for crypto. Now, I'm not being, perma-bear, and I've been very bearish all year, but I'm just being realistic. I cannot wait for a bull market. Trust me. I've lost more money this year than most people watching this. And again, I'll be putting a video on that, explaining what's happened, why, even though I've been in cash all year pretty much. So yeah, I just cannot, even when I try and put my rose tinted lenses on, I cannot see why crypto should rally. There's nothing positive. There's literally regulation season abound. Probably could be all of next year regulation. What happens when Ether is classified as a security and gets massive fines and whatnot, because it is a security. I think we're going to have many opportunities for crypto to do many legs down, or at least just fanny around the 10k mark or the 12 sort of k Gandalf level. That's the Gandalf level. Thou shalt not pass. But don't forget, we've also, if you look at the Bitstamp one, Bitstamp, ignore the doodles, the other stuff. Look at these long-term trend lines here. So we got basically 3 sort of targets really, and I think we could just campoodle around. And again, if you take this red zone, so if we go to log weekly, there we go, just to make things a bit clearer. These lines won't make sense now because we're in a log chart. These previous crashes are around 86%, 84%, and right now, if we were to take the lows, it's only 76%. Like, we've got at least 80% in us. Or if it takes us to 84% crash, that's 10k. Yeah, so I think we're here for at least an 80% crash for this time round, which, yeah, much more falling, and then more oscillation really during the consolidation phase until the next halving and whatnot. But anyway, just my thoughts. I think don't be stressed if you're in cash or whatnot. I think there'll be many opportunities. But, in fact, I'll wait for the next video on how to attack it. Right, cheerio, bye.